Jim Percy from Percy's Farm Store, reminding you to shop local. All my products are locally sourced from your friends and neighbors. Say no to corporate giants and yes to local farms.
Percy's Farm Store.
Free-range eggs, $2 each. Honeycrisp apples, $12.99 a pound. Fresh honey from Wind Blossom Farms. Forcing bees to mate is not cheap. $38 an ounce.
Percy's Farm Store.
Heirloom tomatoes. Perfect for throwing at traveling acting troops who come into town with their foreign ideas and false gods. $8 each, 2 for $17. Bananas are local if you're from Ecuador. Ground chuck from a cow that committed suicide, so it's technically vegan.
Percy's Farm Store.
You won't find anything from China at Percy's Farm Store. Our popcorn balls are made by lifelong resident Karen Winslow. She might think you're a ghost, but she's local. Plump Heritage Chicken from Cameron Farms, right down the road. I know Farmer Beth Cameron personally. Best in the business. Just $3 a pound, and she's only 112 pounds.
Percy's Farm Store?
Located right by the deadly curve at the intersection of County Routes 12 and 203. Open every day from when the rooster crows until a booming voice tells me to go to bed. Cash or Bitcoin only. Service animals discouraged. Please don't believe the Yelp reviews. No cash accepted. 5% discount for veterans of successful wars. We don't carry plastic bags, but we do have a $12 Eco Tote. Please keep the kids away from Karen. You are listening to Questionable Material with Jack Helmuth and Brian Sack. This episode, Kids Asking Questions. Brian, the advice columnist. An interview with the former CEO of McDonald's. Jack.
Yes, Brian.
You know what I just watched with my kid?
What?
Band of Brothers.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Your 12-year-old?
Yeah. The one who's into Hitler and World War II and all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, how did that go?
It was great. I forgot what a great miniseries it was.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good. And it's so long ago. It's like 18 years ago or something. Isn't that crazy?
Yes. World War II was 18 years ago.
No, not World War II. Band of Brothers, Jack.
Oh, sorry.
Your history is really bad. Where'd you go to history school?
History University.
Oh, wow. I feel like they let you down.
I don't know. I say a lot of things and no one ever stops me. I write history books now.
Oh, good.
That's my job.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. So if anyone has any history they want me to put in the books, just call.
All right, then.
Yeah. I feel like this attack on history, and no one's going to want to hear this. And maybe it's not funny, but let me just say this, and then we're going to go back to Band of Brothers.
Okay.
I feel like this history thing started when Sarah Palin made that comment about Paul Revere in, I think it was 2012, and she was going around in her bus in the Palin Cruiser or whatever. And
what was it called? Like the Rogue Mobile or something? Or wasn't there some kind of, it had some name to it, didn't it? Like McCain was the Straight Talk Express.
Right. Anyway, so she would go around on this bus, and she said she sort of misquoted or misremembered what Paul Revere was all about. Do you remember this?
I remember her misquoting and misremembering various things.
Yes.
I mean,
that's all my memories of her.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite memories was Glenn Beck did an interview with her one time.
Yep.
And asked her who her favorite founding father was.
And her answer?
She just sat there, and I watched Beck's pained expression as he realized she didn't have an answer. And he had basically like set her up by accident. And she was like, well, they're all good.
That's
that
funny.
Kind of thing. And it was just really unbelievable.
Oh, that's funny. That's really wonderful.
Yeah.
So she says this thing, and then so her supporters go out and change the
Wikipedia.
She changes the Paul Revere Wikipedia page.
Are you serious?
Her supporters, and it was like a news story for a day. That just you hit a few monologue jokes, being like ha ha ha, and everything. But man, I feel like that was
the beginning of revisionist history.
I mean, obviously revisionist history has been happening since before then. But to me, that was like a watershed moment where we sort of laughed it off. But it was much more of supporters of a political candidate, which happens on all sides, will just change history. And then we, the normal people, will laugh it off being like, aren't they crazy? And now we can't agree on what the fucking truth is on anything.
Yeah, it's super creepy.
So I think it started there.
That was the birth of it.
That was the birth of it. So, all right. So you're sitting there watching Band of Brothers with your 12-year-old.
Yes.
And some pretty gory violence there. We have D-Day. We have
You have D-Day. You got some limbs getting blown off. You got, people getting terrible wounds and bleeding to death. And yeah.
I mean, you live in New York City.
Yeah. So I see that on the way to the deli.
What was his reaction to all of that?
He's fat, he's so, like, this is not shocking to him at all. He is somebody who has watched, Saving Private Ryan a gazillion times. We actually went this summer. We were in the cemetery in Normandy.
Yes.
And he and my other son tracked down the opening shot of Saving Private Ryan, where he's walking through the cemetery. Then he falls to his knees and starts crying at runs. But nope, that's not funny. Sad.
Oh, sorry.
Your emotions are all backwards.
Okay. I'm sorry. It's my fault.
But my son pulled up the actual video on YouTube, like the opening scene.
Oh,
and
wow.
We found exactly where they shot the opening scene.
Oh, that's so
and then
cool.
we took a picture that was very cool. And it's a beautiful cemetery.
It is beautiful.
Yeah. But I digress. What?
What happened?
What was I saying? He's watched all the World War II. He watched The Longest Day, like all the old ones. He Force 10 from Navarone. He's seen Where Eagles Dare, all the old classics.
Wow.
And do you know Downfall?
No.
It's a German movie. It's a phenomenal movie about Hitler's last days in the bunker. It's in German, but it has subtitles. The acting is phenomenal. The actor is incredible. And it's just a really dark, depressing, view of the last days in the bunker. And my son just watched that almost daily. It was every time I heard the TV, I was like, I was like, oh my God, he's watching Downfall again. And it's really like a dark movie, but he's fascinated with World War II.
See, our kids are different because I would always hear, I love you. You love me. And you're hearing,
Und Deutschland und Führer. Yeah. So,
man, why couldn't Barney have ended like Hitler?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Do you want to hear a funny story about that? About my son's obsession with Germans?
Please.
Okay. So
this would be the fucking place to do it.
All right. So he's about probably 5-6 years old at the time. And my wife's here and she tells him, she's like, listen, I'm just going to go to the store, which is, in New York, you're just going down the elevator and across the street going to the store. She's like, I will be back in half an hour or whatever. Don't worry. If you have any problems, because she just assumes he's going to watch TV or just hang out.
Yep.
If you have any problems, there's always the doorman downstairs.
Yep.
He's like, okay. So she leaves, goes to the store. She comes back from the store. He's in the lobby.
Oh my God.
Yeah, with the doorman. And just hanging out with the doorman. And she's like, well, what's the problem? And he goes, what about the Germans? Like, he freaked out. He was worried the Germans would come when she wasn't here. And so he went downstairs to the doorman.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That is likely.
Yeah. But it was just a very funny story.
That's so funny. Have you ever noticed, by the way, that your son looks like the doorman? It's like uncanny.
Hadn't thought of that.
It's like Surrey Cruise looks like Katie Holmes.
Right.
But spitting image. It's unbelievable.
And he's always getting the door for me.
He
when I think
always gets the door. Yeah.
Really weird.
Yeah. Huh. And is always like upset that you didn't give him more money at Christmas.
Huh.
Yeah. If you think about it, I don't know. I don't want to start anything, but they look alike.
It's something I'm going to take into consideration.
You should. Now, you were telling me another story this morning about your son. Mm-hmm. And he was asking you some questions, some more grown-up questions. So obviously he's got war and death and Hitler covered.
Sure.
But maybe he's got some questions about romance and adult relationships that aren't settled in his mind yet. So go ahead and share with the listeners.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He's 12, so he's starting to ask questions. He asked me yesterday as we were walking down the street. We were going to a bookstore. And he goes, Dad, yeah. He's like, have you ever heard of one-night stands? And I said, yeah. And he goes, how does that happen? And I was like, I don't know.
How does it happen?
And I was like, he also, I got a sense that he thought it was just kind of icky, like weird. Like, how could you just, have sex with a lady that you just met?
That you don't love?
Right.
Oh.
And so that was kind of interesting. And then I tried to deflect and just wow, look at the architecture on that building. Isn't that pretty?
Oh, that's a good move.
Yeah.
So he must have dropped it right away then.
No, he kept coming back to it.
Oh.
Like, Dad, I need to know. How do I do this? How do I make this happen?
How do I close the deal?
No, but then he goes, did you ever have a one-night stand? Mm-hmm. And that's one of these weird father things. Because it's like, should I be honest with him?
Yep.
Or should I just be like, oh, of course not. You have to be in love. And
Yep.
so I kicked him.
What?
I just kicked him and knocked him down, and he got distracted.
The pain made him forget
Took him off the tangent.
That's good parenting.
Yeah. But I made it look like an accident.
Like he tripped on a grate or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. No, I tripped on a wino and then knocked him down. No. So, I was faced with that dilemma. Am I honest, or do I just kind of shrug it off?
So did you answer your son? Did you have a one night stand?
You know what? I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Now, does he listen to this podcast?
No.
First of all, get your son to listen to this thing. Secondly, now's your chance. Confess your sins.
Yeah. I mean, who hasn't had one night stand?
Me.
What? Never?
Well, I was long-term relationship guy.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Yes, I was long-term relationship guy.
Every time?
I got into relationships very quickly so I could then make it with the ladies.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
It's actually true.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Ugh.
Then maybe I'll just steal your story and tell it to my son.
And I'll swap, only if I can have your memories
Yeah.
of what it was like to have a fun sexual life.
Huh.
Yeah, please.
Wow.
So let's trade.
Okay.
So, but now I'm going to keep pushing though.
Uh-oh.
Your son did ask something else.
Oh, had I heard of threesomes?
Yes.
Yeah.
And have you?
I've heard of them.
Uh-huh. And what did you tell your son?
I've heard of them.
And did he have a follow-up question to that?
Have you heard of fivesomes? And I said, well, kind of, but that's not really a term.
Right.
I said the proper term, son, is in French. It's ménage à trois.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
But not for a fivesome.
No, ménage à cinq.
Uh-huh.
But that's just not a thing that people say.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
So did you have the gangbang talk?
I did not.
Okay.
I'm going to hold back on the gangbang talk until he's a little older.
Yeah, that usually comes at 13.
When he starts going to swingers clubs.
I mean, it is New York City.
Right. They have them.
So my kids yesterday, because the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I had a very similar thing happen yesterday. My kids last night at dinner were talking, my wife and I are going away this weekend to Washington, D.C. It's our nation's capital.
That's so funny. We were just considering going to Washington, D.C.
No way.
this weekend. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'll go with you.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to Washington, D.C. and my wife is explaining like, this is going to be, the kids aren't coming. So this is sort of going to be like a date weekend. And Betsy asked, if the kids know what a date meant? And my daughter said, yeah, that's when you kiss each other and touch each other's butts.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love the way little kids understand relationships.
But she's 6. Like, how does she know about kissing and touching butts?
I just the butt thing is really weird.
It is weird.
Kissing and touching each other's butts.
So that's sort of when you put your fork down and then you have to go through the list of questions like, And has anyone ever wanted to touch your butt? I mean, like, that's when you have that parent freak out of like,
right.
Oh God, I got to make sure everything's okay.
I remember I have a friend, Rachel from Ireland. And she had a son, Robert.
Mm-hmm.
He was 5 years old. I was in Ireland. And he comes over. He's like, I know how I was born. I'm like, oh, yeah? How are you born? He's like, Grandpa put an egg in Rachel's bum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grandpa put an egg in Rachel's bum.
Yep.
And that's how babies come from.
Yeah.
That's where babies come from.
Well, I still haven't figured that one out. I've been wanting to talk to you about this, Brian. Maybe a lot of people do know this, that you have a very successful advice column.
Oh, well, do I?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I was thinking, I was thinking maybe because we have some letters. And so I was wondering if I could read some of the letters and you could just give some of your patented Brian advice.
That's a great idea.
Great. So, dear Brian.
Yes.
I'm a single mom of 4 and want to start dating again, but I'm worried about how it might affect my kids. Help me, Brian. You're my only hope. Sincerely, Nervous in Nebraska.
She's got 4 kids.
Yep.
Well, I mean, you need to sit down with the kids
and
just be like, listen, men are going to come over the house and I'm going to close the bedroom door and you are going to hear and experience sounds and noises and odors that you have never experienced before. but you're going to have to understand that mommy has needs.
Okay.
And a lot of those needs end with shrieking and the sound of metal striking drywall.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's solid advice, I guess.
Yeah.
And so is it like, is it a string of men who's coming over? Because you said men.
It really depends on how polished her profile is on Tinder.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's. I guess I'll say it's great advice because you're the expert, and what do I know?
Right.
So I see another letter from your Dear Brian account that I was able to get. Dear Brian, I'm an overweight man in my 30s and have yet to settle down with a woman. I'm worried that my inability to find a soulmate is due to my size. What should I do? Help me, Brian. You're my only hope. Fatty and Piscataway. Do you have any advice for this guy to get ladies to his house and how to keep them there?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times they'll like it. Like if you dress up in military gear or walk around like a replica sword and maybe sword fight a friend.
Oh,
That's like really puts on a display for the ladies, and they'll just sit there and they love to watch two guys going at it with replica swords.
good advice, I guess.
Thank you. That's why I have a column.
You do. Well, here's another one of the letters that I was able to find. Dear Brian,
Yep.
I'm a 21-year-old recent college graduate. I graduated with a number of things I'm proud of: a double degree in history and political science, a great group of friends, and my virginity. The guy I just started dating says he wants to go all the way, but I don't know if I should do it. Help me, Brian. You're my only hope. Still pure in Pittsburgh.
So here's somebody she's got a good head in her shoulders.
Yeah.
And she obviously well educated.
Mhm.
She's got a good career ahead of her. Now's the time to make a baby.
Do you think so?
Absolutely. She's fresh and pure. She needs to find a guy
Okay.
and get a baby in there as soon as possible. She should dress up,
Mm-hmm.
make herself look very attractive,
Okay.
go to a biker bar,
Okay.
and I mean, really go home with whoever buys her a drink. I would say my rule is I go home with whoever the third person to buy me a drink,
Uh-huh.
I take home.
You're married, though.
Okay. Why you making a big deal out of that?
Well, I would think that you guys maybe have a closed, what we call a closed relationship.
When I'm at a bar
Uh-huh.
and, somebody buys me a drink, I'm pretty much obligated to take them home.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
That's the way I was brought up.
You might want to do some reading because it's definitely not that way with most other relationships.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
That's what my wife says all the time.
all the time she says that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We should probably have her on the show while
Sure.
she's still around.
Yeah. No, she's gone.
Where'd she go?
There's a rugby team that is traveling the country,
Uh-huh.
and she said she really wants to be a rugby photographer.
Okay.
So
She doesn't own a camera, though.
no, that's what she said. Don't worry about it.
Huh.
So apparently they're going to hook her up with a camera. So she travels with the rugby team.
Okay. Does she call home a lot?
No, I haven't heard from her in a little bit.
How long's a little bit?
6 weeks.
Okay. So she hasn't called back in 6 weeks.
Yeah,
It's also off season for rugby because I follow. Yeah.
it is.
It's off season.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
You okay?
Yeah. No, I'm thinking. I remember her Instagram, which is usually pictures of food, has lately just been ceilings.
Brian.
Yeah, Jack.
So the big story lately is how Facebook. Have you heard of the Facebook?
The Facebook? Yes, I love the Facebook.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So Facebook
Yeah.
in the news a
Yeah.
lot lately because they have taken political ads. They air political ads. They take money from candidates,
Right.
and especially President Trump. That's the big one lately.
Yeah.
And they say that they're not going to interfere in the content of those ads. So if a candidate posts something false, they're not going to say, hey, that's not true. You have to take it down. If
Right.
a candidate lies in an ad, that's just okay with Facebook. And people are taking up the pitchforks, saying, quitting Facebook, Zuckerberg's evil. How could he do this? He's just trying to help Trump win.
Yeah.
I was wondering, what would it be like if Joe Biden decided to do a Facebook buy and ran some ads where he didn't need to be truthful anymore? What do you think that would be like?
Hey, it's your pal Joe Biden, totally lucid, just chilling.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you agree.
Facebook might say that's a step too far.
Hey, Joe Biden here.
Okay, good, Joe. You're doing good, Joe.
My eye just blew up. LOL.
Joe, okay, we don't need to bring that up, Joe. Go, just focus on something positive and true about yourself.
Well, some people say I'm old, but only if you compare me to a baby. If you think about mountains, they're way older and they're doing just fine. Mountains for president.
No, Joe Biden for
Joe
president.
Biden for president.
Good job, Uncle Joe.
Thank you, Sonny. I was vice president under the very popular Barack Obama.
Don't say his middle name. Good.
Obama.
Good.
Hussein.
No, don't.
No?
No.
Barack Hussein.
No.
No?
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama.
Good. We can edit that out.
I was president under the very popular Saddam Hussein Obama.
No, Barack Obama. Just forget the Hussein
Obama.
part. Just forget the Hussein part. Don't say anything. Don't make any racial gaffes. Just let's move on from the Obama thing.
Okay.
Bring him up in that. Okay, go.
I am President Barack Obama.
No, you're Vice President Joe Biden.
I am.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I totally.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I worked for Obama. Sorry. Little slip up there. I'm still electable, everybody. I'm President Obama's best friend.
Good.
And there's no better friend than a clean and articulate black man.
No, Joe.
I can't read the script and my eyes are filled with blood.
So Brian,
Yeah.
you all right?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
So I'm super excited because it's interview time, and we have
My favorite time.
yes,
Talking to you.
But-
Interviewing.
yes, yeah. Well, you're very good at interviewing, so I'm looking forward to you being a part of this.
I like to interview.
So today we have he's now the former CEO of McDonald's, Steve Easterbrook,
Oh,
is here. So he was fired because he had a consensual relationship with a McDonald's employee.
right. Which is a problem.
Why is that a problem?
Because you're about to interview the CEO of McDonald's.
That's right.
Former CEO.
It makes you perfect for this conversation.
I need to recuse myself.
What?
I can't participate in this interview.
Well, this isn't a legal action. This is just like a fun podcast interview.
I know how law works. I've seen plenty of episodes of TV shows, and I need to recuse myself.
You don't need, no, you need to stay here and interview this guy with me.
You're going to have to do it. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't.
You'll bring a perspective.
No, I'm biased. I'm completely biased. I dated a McDonald's employee whose name may or may not be Christine. I need to go. I'm sorry.
What if this guy dated Christine? What if she's still there? What if he's been knocking boots with Christine?
Yeah.
No?
You can have her. She's still got my class ring. I'd like that back. I actually don't care. I hated my high school. All right. I got to go. I'm really sorry.
This is, I wish you would stay for one of these, Brian.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Jesus God. That was stunning. Oh man, I wish we recorded these with video. Okay, well, sorry about that, everybody. Brian will be back next week, I guess. I'm not sure where he is right now. So I'd like to welcome the former, he was the CEO of McDonald's until just a couple of days ago, Steve Easterbrook, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Hi, Jack. Thank you for having me.
Steve.
Yes.
This perhaps is your first big interview since the scandal went down.
Yeah, I've kept a low profile, and I thought I'd keep it low by doing your podcast.
Hey, come on. You don't need to go there. You didn't need to do that. Okay. All right. Fair. That's a fair zinger.
That's what we call the sick burn back at McDonald's corporate.
Oh, that's like a corporate, a sick burn?
We have a lot of lingos, we call them, and that's one of them.
A sick burn is a type of lingo or just?
Well, no, a sick burn is what you get if you're using the fryolator and you accidentally put your hand in it.
Oh, that would be a sick burn.
Yeah.
But like sick.
It's super sick. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but like the skin gets all crispy, just like a McNugget.
Oh, good Lord.
And it's really terrifying.
Does that happen a lot? I mean, that must almost never happen.
Happens a lot. You'd be weird because the fryolator button is actually located right next to the boiling oil. The placement of it is really thoughtless
Oh,
in the design.
that seems like a bad choice. Was that your doing?
It's one of the things that attracted me to the company.
That you wanted to come in and try and fix it?
I wanted to understand why the fry later turn off button was so close to the boiling oil. And it was something I thought I might want to eventually change.
Okay, so you hadn't gotten around to that.
No, I was going to, and then
what happened?
yeah, you meet people, things happen.
Oh, so who did you meet?
Gloria.
Gloria.
Yeah.
Don't tell me about Gloria. Was she is that like the head of marketing, and you guys were instead working on a marketing campaign instead of fixing the fry later safety issue?
Yeah, well, Gloria was Hamburglar's assistant.
Oh,
administrative assistant.
Okay.
Secretary is what we used to say. Secretary. Now that's not politically correct. We say administrative assistant. It flows much easier off the tongue.
Right.
Than secretary.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you met her, and then what happened?
First of all, I found her incredibly hot, like the center of a McDonald's apple pie. Just amazingly hot.
Right.
So that's what, of course, first attracted me to her. But then I got to know her, and her mind was it's kind of like how our McNuggets are just kind of pureed chicken bits of all different types and things just kind of whipped up into like a paste that is then compressed and then fried. Her brain reminded me of something that was comprised of all these different beautiful ideas, and she just knows so many things, and it's all those things are compressed like a McNugget. But it's her brain.
Oh, that's really
just
beautiful.
Filled with great ideas. Yeah, and not fried, of course, because that would kill her. But
of course,
just a really smart girl. So of course, so on top of being incredibly hot, she also just was knowledgeable, smart. She's lovely. I would deliberately involve a Hamburglar in a lot of corporate decisions and corporate trips, so that she would tag along as his assistant. And we would sneak away.
Where would you go?
We would meet there's McDonald's has a bunker in Utah.
Okay.
Where in the event of a nuclear holocaust, all the McDonald's executive staff will be relocated to make sure that their franchise and the company continues on.
Absolutely.
In the nuclear hellscape.
Right.
And we will take a limited number of franchisees.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah. From major markets only.
Okay.
We started dating, and I sensed there was something there with Gloria, and I wanted to quarter pounder, if you know what I'm saying. It's an expression we use inside the company.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
that's pretty vulgar.
I played it cool, like a shamrock shake. But over time, we developed feelings for one another.
What are some other sort of corporate secrets that you can now share with us? What are some things that are sort of coming up on the horizon that you can sort of spill? Some changes in McDonald's, some changes that you have underway in the pipeline?
Well, I think one of the biggest secrets is that we basically get all of our food from Wendy's.
No.
When you order a hamburger, every McDonald's operation has what we call a runner.
Okay.
He gets a notification. He runs to Wendy's.
Okay.
He gets a burger. He comes back. He snips off the corners to make the burger round.
Yep.
And then we sell you the burger.
Wow.
It's not a cost-effective process. And sometimes we actually lose money.
I would think so.
Yeah. And a lot of times your burgers are cold.
Yeah.
Especially if the Wendy's is like several miles away. And a lot of people are wondering, why is it taking 25 minutes?
Absolutely.
But that is one of the things, one of the inside secrets of the biz.
Why did you do that?
Initially, just to make things easier on us. A lot of people in the kitchen didn't feel like making burgers.
Oh, they just didn't feel like it.
Yeah. So we were like, okay, well, let's hire somebody to bring in import burgers.
Okay. Because I would say actually oftentimes Wendy's burger would be more expensive than just about any burger on the McDonald's menu.
Yep. Yeah. It wasn't the best decision they made. Sure.
They?
We.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't the best decision.
But you wanted to keep your staff happy.
I did.
Which I know you're good at.
Yeah. Well, just one. I mean, I could please the whole company if I could, if you know what I mean. But
Sure.
Gloria's got my heart.
Oh,
Yeah, she.
how are things going now that you've lost your job as one of the highest profile CEOs in America?
Ironically, we're going to take a little time off.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what happened?
She found me much more attractive when I was a high profile CEO.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And pretty much the moment I told her that I was no longer with the company, that sparkle in her eye.
Yep.
Just kind of, it went from being like a glimmer, like a flash of like when the fries hit the boiling oil.
Right.
To more like the wrinkled burger that you get that never looks like the advertisement.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm hoping she'll come around.
When was the last time you spoke to Gloria?
Pretty much after I informed her that I was no longer with the company.
And then how did that conversation end?
She hung up the phone on me.
Oh, okay. And in your attempts to call back, how have they gone?
No, it goes to voicemail. I'm assuming she's just really busy. Hamburglar's got a lot on his plate.
Right.
Pun intended.
Right. Of course.
But yeah, it'll work out in the end.
Okay. So what are some other corporate secret? What are some other things that you have that McDonald's has coming up? Some changes, some things that you've already implemented. I mean, you've got so many things from menu items to the dollar menu to the McDonald's play space. I mean, I'm just dying to know.
In the play spaces, you've probably seen there are a lot of slides and
Yes.
ball pits.
Yep.
We're getting rid of that.
Okay.
It's going to be mattresses.
Just mattresses.
Yeah, just a lot of mattresses with vinyl sheets.
With what? Oh, is this for?
It's for sploshing. It's a new thing that I read about. And we're going to, it's basically adults play with food, spray each other with mustard, ketchup, special sauce.
So you're turning the play spaces at McDonald's into like a sex romper room.
It's like a little romper room. Yeah. It's not kid friendly for sure.
Okay.
And we're going to advise, parents to steer clear and maybe just use the drive-through.
Right.
Because the play spaces will be splosh spaces. We're changing the name.
That's going to generate some news.
Yeah.
Did you make that decision back sort of at the peak Gloria time?
Yeah. I mean, I was really into she really turned me on. She enlightened me sexually.
Okay.
And she was a firebrand, and I'd gone from being like a typical ordinary executive to just this incredibly open, sexually exploratory individual. And, I credit her for kind of bringing me out of my shell, as it were. And that's when I saw that McDonald's could be a vehicle for change and for sexual liberation.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah. Parents are definitely going to, a lot of families go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
So that's definitely, we're going to want to give the heads up on that one.
Yeah. We're definitely going to take precautions. There will be a lot of visual barriers to prevent parents and children who don't want to see what's going on in the splosh rooms from actually seeing that. And there'll be other things, the very happy meal.
Oh,
it's for adults.
Oh, what comes in the very happy meal?
You.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah, I bet you would. It's
there'll be a variety of toys for adults.
Oh, so the toys that come in, normally it's like the Secret Life of Pets 2, like the cow or the rooster.
Yeah, we've partnered with the Adam and Eve catalog. And so I think, the first month's promotion is the Super Vayner 5000.
Oh, what is that? That's some sort of giant.
It's a patterned after Ron Jeremy.
Oh, so it's a dildo, or a vibrator type of contraption.
We're going to call it a supersized grown-up toy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's great. I mean, it's not great.
It's a Big Mac Daddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whew. So you got to be careful ordering.
Yeah.
So if you say a Big Mac and then there's like a little at the drive-through,
right? You might wind up with a Ron Jeremy modeled. Yeah.
Right. Your kids might open up there.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We've really been working on this because we don't want any kind of crossing over of different orders. We got to be very careful.
Yeah. How's that gone in test markets so far?
It was very popular in Miami. Not so popular in Utah.
I bet.
Yeah. Just different vibes. But
Sure.
we're going to work it out. Drive-through window will be topless.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, that's where you're steering families and kids that way. So I'm not sure that's a smart move.
One of the other changes we'll be having is we're going to retire Ronald McDonald as a character.
Oh.
We think he's run its course. That's
humongous. One of the most iconic images in American ad sales.
Yep.
Media.
Our thinking was our internal research showed that, clowns are not sexual creatures. Mm-hmm. And they're not something that kind of that kind of build your, they're not good for the libido, so to speak.
Okay.
So we've got a new character called Horn Dog Harry.
What does Horn Dog Harry do?
Horn Dog Harry is a big, buff, masculine man. He kind of, in some ways, looks like me.
Okay.
He's not overly built, but he's got some muscle on him. He's got some hair. He's my age.
Okay.
His backstory is that he used to be a CEO of a major company. And
that's it. Okay.
There'll be we'll have statues of him in every store
of Horn Dog Harry.
Yeah. And you can sit next to him on a bench. He'll be there'll be a statue of him presiding over the splosh rooms. So we're looking forward to that.
What sort of commercials are you going to, I assume, because that's whenever, there's the Burger King, the King guy running around.
Sure.
That was in every commercial for 15 years. Obviously, Ronald has been humongous in commercials. You must have some commercials lined up.
Yeah, we're working with an ad agency out of New York, Ogilvy and Mather. Very big ad agency.
Yeah, that's big.
We've given them the account.
Okay. So do you have any Horn Dog Harry storyboards for the commercials?
Yeah, we do. Do you want to see some?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. There we go. All right. So this is the commercial.
Oh.
And it starts, and it's a guy and a girl. They're on a date.
Okay.
Okay. You see that they're pulling up into the McDonald's parking lot.
That's wholesome.
Yeah. And then they're getting out of his car and they're walking in, and you can see, like, if you look closer, he wants to hold her hand.
Aww.
It's like this little, because you can tell it's a first date.
Yeah.
Wants to hold her hand. Holds the door for her like a gentleman.
I like that. Even in 2019. Good.
Right. They walk into the McDonald's and they're standing there in front of the menu board. Now you see in this picture here, they're standing in front of the menu board. They're picking, she doesn't know what she wants. And he's just kind of infatuated with her. He just all smiles, and she's picking out. And then
still kind of cute. Yeah.
She goes, she's going to have a Filet-O-Fish. And he's like, I'm going to have a quarter pounder. And then it cuts to them in the splosh room. And he's spraying her naked body with mustard and then throwing sesame patties at her. And, you can see the ecstasy in her face. The desire to hold her hand is gone. Now he just wants to know her carnally. And, he takes the whole ketchup container and dumps it on her body. And you see like a middle-aged couple over on the side watching them with smiles. They're kind of like, oh, look at these kids having a good time in the splash room. Look at these wholesome kids having a great time in the splash room. And he's putting pickle chips on her nipples. And it's, and it ends with McDonald's. The logo comes up. And then you have Horn Dog Harry, and he has this trademark gesture where he just kind of puts his arms out, like welcoming you to McDonald's. And then our tagline is just going to be hump.
That's your new tagline. It's just hump. Just commanding people.
We want to get straight into the point. And we don't want to beat around the bush. Wendy's, all these other places, they just want to sell you burgers and stuff.
Right.
McDonald's is now a sexual enterprise. We are, tasked with really, changing the world, so to speak, for the way they view sex. We will have splosh packs available. You can splosh size it if you want.
Oh,
yeah. We'll have combo packs. So you'll get, your burger, your fries, your Viagra, and a soda or a shake.
So it's not just Coca-Cola who's your partner now. Different ED drugs?
Yeah, we have a partnership with Pfizer.
Uh-huh.
And we will be pushing the blue pill. We have a blue shake.
Oh.
You know, the Shamrock shake.
Of course I do. It's green.
Right. Well, we're going to have a blue shake.
Oh.
And that will be the Viagra shake.
Okay, great.
Obviously, 18 and older for consumption.
Mm-hmm.
But that will, a small.
Is it covered by insurance?
We're working on that.
Okay.
A small will get you 2 to 3 hours in the splash room.
Those are some big changes coming up for McDonald's.
Yeah. And I'm very sad that I'm not there to oversee them, but I'm glad I was there to implement them.
Well, it seems like you would be the guy to take that company to the level of which you were going.
Yeah. Well, it'll be my legacy. And
Sure.
I know that in the future, no matter what I'm doing, and I'll be fine. I've got my golden parachute.
Mm-hmm.
But as I'm driving by a McDonald's in rural Mississippi,
Yep.
and I see the splash room and the adults just having a great time,
Mm-hmm.
I'll know, that I did that.
Yeah, you did.
That's me. That's my legacy.
Yeah, that's really beautiful, man. Thank you so much for being here. Steve Easterbrook, good luck to you in all of your future endeavors.
Thank you very much, Jack, for having me on your show.
My pleasure.
Really enjoyed it.
Thank you. I'll never forget this.
And, please, 2 things.
Okay.
Eat at McDonald's
I will.
and Gloria, call me.
Oh. Okay, well, that was Steve Easterbrook, everybody. That is all the time we have for today's episode. If you want to help support Questionable Material, please review us on the podcast site of your choice. A great review is worth a lot. And don't forget to check out our website, qmpodcast.com, and links to the podcast sites, show notes, and a blog. It's all right there on QM Podcast. And make sure to sign up for our newsletter while you're there. There are a lot of funny jokes in that as well. The part of Steve Easterbrook today was not played by Steve Easterbrook. So if we were a big enough show to have lawyers, that's what they would have told me to say. Thank you so much for listening. We can't wait to talk with you again next week. Good night, America.
That was Questionable Material. Subscribe to this podcast. Visit us at qmpodcast.com. Email us at contact@qmpodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at questionablemat with 1 T.